In this video, we'll explore a gentle and simple exercise that helps encourage connection, stability, and strength to the area where your spine meets your pelvis. When this area moves well, you have a stronger lower back, you have ability to move with ease, and you feel more supported in your whole body. Welcome, friends. Today, our video is focused on how to create stability and support for the lower back, specifically where the spine meets the pelvis at those joints called the sacroiliac joints. Now, the sacrum, which is at the bottom of the spine, is kind of like the mediator between all of the vertebra up above, all of our whole spine, and the ilium, the two sides of our pelvis. So those are connected at those joints, right at the sacrum. So much about creating healthy joints in any part of the body is looking at the balance between our ability to mobilize and have range of motion, good range of motion in that joint, and also how to stabilize that joint so that things can come together and give us the strength that we need. So this exercise is really concentrated on how to build a little bit more support or strength and really concentrating on those smaller, tiny muscles around the low belly muscles and the muscles around our sacroiliac joints. So I invite you to come to the floor, and we're going to be on our back today and feeling the knees and the feet and the hips line up with each other. We're going to start in what's called a neutral pelvis. And really that means that your hip bones here and your pubic bone are flat on the same level. So sometimes when I relax, my back kind of compresses into the mat. For some of us, there may be a lot of space under that lower back. So we have to kind of find the middle where you have a little bit of space and you're matching that lumbar curve of the spine. So this is where we want to concentrate, of having that little bit of space, feeling like you could hold a cup of tea here on your lower abdominals. With that connection, with that position, notice if you can feel like you have a wide, tight belt around your lower abdominal area, and it's being squeezed into the center. Sometimes I feel like I'm being kind of sucked up through a straw, and I feel this kind of tightening or cinching around my waist. Now that cinching should not lose this, you shouldn't lose this space under your lower back. So sometimes when we cinch, we kind of compress that space in. This exercise is maintaining that lower curve of your back and still engaging those lower abdominals, right? Without pushing them forward and efforting out. So everything is drawing right into the center, thinking of your navel, pulling to the spine, but not encouraging that low back to drop to the floor. So from here, it could be just that. It could be that you're just strengthening and holding that and then taking a little release. That could be a great practice. If you want a little extra, you can feel that cinching around your waist. You can feel your feet pressing into the floor, and then very slowly and gently lift your pelvis 1 to 3 inches off the floor. Hold it there. Take a nice inhale and exhale without changing the shape of the pelvis, and then gently float the pelvis back down. And you might repeat that a couple of times to strengthen the area around the sacroiliac joints. Sometimes this can be very helpful if you're feeling a little bit of a twinge, and it's very helpful to do this small, slow movement to help strengthen the muscles around the sacroiliac joints. Now, if you want to add a little bit of extra work, you can grab a yoga block to put between your knees, or you could grab a couch cushion. I have one here, either folded up or flat, also between your knees. And so notice what you like. If you like a little bit more squish to have that sensory feedback, or if you like a little harder surface to push against. And the same thing Exactly the same thing here. Wrapping, finding that neutral pelvis, engaging those core muscles like you're tying a tight belt around your waist, pushing into the feet, squeezing into that block or cushion, and then slowly lifting your hips a few inches off the mat. Now again, I don't want to change the shape of my pelvis here, so I don't want to lift so high that I lose that lumbar curve. So we want to keep that neutral positioning in the pelvis. Take a breath, or maybe two at the top. Keep squeezing the block or the pillow, and then slowly float the pelvis down. And you can decide how many feel good for you to do each time you do it, but hopefully that helps create a little bit more stability around the sacroiliac joint. Thanks for joining me today.